Hi there and welcome back. Today I'll be diving into section 5.2.5 regarding the learning and development strategy within the change management strategy. This is taken out of the first edition of the Standard of Change Management published by the Association of Change Management Professionals. This is perfect if you're prepping for the Certified Change Management Professional exam. So let's dive into section 5.2.5, develop the learning and development strategy. The purpose of develop the learning and development strategy is to define the knowledge, skills, and competencies required for stakeholders to adopt the change, which informs creation and delivery of learning and development programs and training courses. The key components that the learning and development strategy identifies are the skills and competencies needed to perform in the changed environment, those needing training to close the competency gap, the content to be delivered, the method of delivery, and methods to determine the effectiveness of the training. Demonstrating the need. The learning and development strategy should document what stakeholders must be able to do differently because of the change and how they need to be able to work to be successful in the future state. The strategy ensures that impacted stakeholders are equipped with the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities to achieve the future state. Defining a high-level approach. The learning and development strategy should define a high-level approach that ensures understanding of the intended work effort. This includes explaining different learning and development methods and tools, identifying possible resources, estimating a timeline, identifying proposed deliverables, and other key considerations. Beginning with explaining different learning and development methods and tools. The learning and development method is dependent upon the type of change and culture of the organization. It should identify the most effective learning and development methods and tools when defining the high-level approach. Key learning and development methods may include instructor-led, computer-based, webcasts, podcasts, role plays, simulations, on-the-job, and gamification. Identifying possible resources. Some organizations have internal learning and development departments that can be leveraged to conduct the learning and development. Other organizations will rely on external consulting expertise or outsourcing to conduct these activities. The high-level approach should outline the resourcing plan to conduct the learning and development activities. Estimating a timeline. The high-level plan should include an estimated timeline for the learning and development that aligns with the project schedule. Learning and development should be close enough to the actual change that stakeholders will remember what they learned and be able to transfer the new skills to their jobs. Identifying proposed deliverables. The expected learning and development deliverables and supporting materials need to be defined in the learning and development strategy. This will establish the work effort expected to complete learning and development. Deliverables may include a learning and development plan, curriculum, materials, and an evaluation. Key considerations in defining the learning and development approach may include license costs for training tools, commissioning training environments to deliver training of new technical or digital solutions, data used in training material and any data privacy requirements, an approach to piloting the training in advance of deployment to ensure it is fit for purpose, governance for sign-off of training content, particularly if there's legal or regulatory requirements, an approach to transitioning training from the change program to business as usual training, including knowledge transfer and management. Lastly, determine evaluation techniques. There are a wide variety of approaches and techniques to evaluate learning activities. The learning and development strategy should explain the importance of learning and evaluating and how it should be approached. Measuring the success of learning and development programs demonstrates whether the participants learned the skills needed. The learning objectives should be used to define training content and measure adoption after training. Identifying the objectives of the learning and development program prior to the delivery also enables the change practitioner to evaluate adoption success after training completion.